our last one. But,
Does it feel different going into the season?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Knowing that it's coming to a close, and and I always approach jobs are more just emotional journeys. They're just slices of your life or what's going on as a human being, and so it's weird with this family we've created that we're coming. I'm in a little bit of denial, I think, and then the day will come. And the sets will come down, and but it's been an amazing journey.
Because you knew you guys were finishing this season, was there anything that you talked to the EPs about in terms of that you still wanted to see out of your character's arc?
No, I try, and I would say that Ben probably has more authorship in that kind of in that world. I'm kind of a soldier in that regard, that I just like what you've got for me, I'll take, and comes down the pike. They're working out so many complicated arcs and storylines that I think it's hard to interfere too much with that process. But I just kind of like to see what they come up with and be kind of surprised myself.
Yes.
You know?
You got to have the big heroic moment and redemption last season where you risked your life to cut that last bomb, not knowing. And I was on, even though that you're surviving the comics, I was on the edge of my seat. I wasn't sure if we were going to make it or not. That was so thrilling.
And it's fun in that because obviously that's a bit of a trick in these worlds, right? Is that you have this sense that there are consequences, but they're never. But in Gotham, there are consequences. People go, and a lot of people have come back from the dead. But thank you, that's a huge compliment. But I honestly think that Harvey has very little life outside of his job in the GCPD and his relationship with Jim Gordon. I think he's a pretty, almost like an empty vessel if he doesn't have it. And so he's more driven psychologically by that need to just have some purpose in life, because I don't think he has much of a life outside of work.
That said, did you ever create a life for him?
Totally. It's a lot darker than I think the showrunners think. He has a pretty, I think you'd be, if you got to see his life, you'd be pretty shocked at how Spartan and severe it is outside of work. This is what, I think when Gotham started, Harvey was just trying to clock the last few years to get to pension. And Jim Gordon reignited something in him and gave him some purpose to live and to continue and to care.
After all these years, how has been working with Ben? And are you like brothers or something?
We felt that way off the bat. And my sister had worked with Ben on Southland and really enjoyed working with Ben, and somehow we fell into it and stepped with each other, and then we just he's an amazing human being. He's incredibly kind, and yet he has a very strong spine. He's a great leader. He's a great number one on the call sheet, and it means a lot. And I've seen shows, and we all probably know of certain shows where that kind of stuff gets in, and it really wrecks the dynamic of just showing up every day and doing your job. And there was never an incident of that on Gotham ever, and I'm so appreciative to these. These are really beautiful human beings that we get to work with. There was no ego involved, and it was just such a pleasure to be part of. There are when you're away from your family working, and you're working 15 hours a day or 16 hours a day, and usually a city that you don't live in, or it's so important that you have that connection with the cast and the crew that we have. And I know people talk about that kind of stuff all the time, but I'm a father, and I just really come at this thing like you come at. You're just a human being showing up. Doing your job is what you do. Who you are is who you are. And so, but we've made this kind of family within Gotham, and I'll miss them dearly.
What's on your Bullock bucket list now that we have one season left?
I didn't really have. I really think that Bullock's role is just to really be, he's just there to serve when stuff goes awry. He might whinge about it a little bit, and he might bitch and moan, but when the stuff goes down, Bullock's always there over Jim's shoulder, and I think that was whatever their trajectory that they wanted for the last season. I wanted it just that was. I just was there. I didn't have any kind of personal thing that I would really like to see Harvey necessarily do. I just wanted him to be part of the team and doing what he always does.
The great thing about the series is that it feels sometimes so cinematic. So would you be up to that maybe the finale or the final episode will be like a motion picture? Something like that?
I don't, I haven't read it yet,